Welcome to the Still Dripping Happy Hour. This is your host, Mason. On the move tonight, we got Hayes Hollett.
Yes, sir.
And we got LP.
What up?
Dan's been in and out of the chat room. So,
Chat room?
Well, in and out of the Zoom. You know, whatever.
This
2005.
I was going to say.
Old folks. All right. Well, before we get into this, we got a very special guest tonight. But before we hear from her, I need everybody to go online, type in Instagram on your little search bar, and go to that search bar and type in Still Drippin' TN. Follow us, like all our posts, and then go to iTunes, search us again, and download every single episode and tell your friends to download all the episodes, and then delete them all and then do it again. You know the drill. Dan's not here to tell you, but we'll let you know. And with that, without further ado, I think we just jump into it. Landon, Can you give us a proper introduction?
So excited about this one. This is a local entrepreneur, someone that's made their name in the streetwear gang, and just in the culture of sneakers, and just has really pushed the ball forward in Nashville, and I'm going to say globally, and is the owner, the founder of Red Rose Hype Shop. Give it up for Jenny.
Jenny from the block.
Love it. So Jenny, I'm going to jump right in real quick. I know we've got a list of questions. I'm going to go off script real quick because I know. I walked into the shop a couple weeks ago and unloaded a couple pairs.
This is a free shout out.
This is a free shout out. Yeah. Incredible experience. You've got, I'm sure you know this, but you've got 5 stars across the board on Google reviews. Like, just unreal. I could go off and read all the reviews, but all about customer service and just friendly staff, very attentive. And you don't get that very often in the industry that you work in. So you definitely stand out in Nashville and globally. But just, I'm curious, what were your thoughts when I walked into the shop?
You specifically? I don't know. Like, I mean, we do get like a lot of these like bulk type of people. Sometimes you came in with a lot of stuff that day. So you were specifically, I did like that you messaged us beforehand, and like we kind of came up with a list of like things, do's and nots, like that I don't want. And you were really nice about me not taking all of the list. And you kind of had your like offers like already like pre-made a little bit. So that already was like a good start with me. Sometimes, I mean, it is a sneaker store, but sometimes like somebody comes in with like 30 pairs unannounced. I'm just like, ugh. Like, why didn't you let me know? Like, there's a phone number, we have Instagram, like just communication. So that was already like a good, like seemed friendly, but then like just thought maybe like you were a collector. I think I asked you like, are you a collector? Like, where's all this stuff coming from? So I kind of thought maybe you were a collector. I didn't really think of you as like that typical like sleazy reseller kind of guy. So
that's a huge compliment.
I had a good
on, preach.
impression. Yeah, I had a good yeah.
You were prepared, Landon. That's impressive. I'm not surprised. You probably had a spreadsheet.
I did. Well, I didn't share the spreadsheet with her, but yeah, I gotta stay organized. So, but yeah, 5 stars all around, was incredible. And then you were so kind to take our invitation to jump on the podcast, and I'm excited to jump into this. So Mason, I know you got some questions. Let's jump in.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll go in order, but start out by telling us where you're from, just a little bit about your upbringing and where you got started in sneakers, fashion, all that.
Yeah, so I'm from Nashville, born and raised.
Oh, yes, 615.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of us here, but
there's 3 here on this podcast. 4 now.
There's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not. We're a rare breed nowadays in Nashville. But my parents, they're actually from Bosnia. They escaped the war here like 27 years ago, I believe. So, yeah, that was like, I grew up in like a foreign household. I'm like first generation. I was never like the most like wealthy or popular kid in school. So kind of sneakers and fashion was something like I was always like inspired by. I always thought was so cool. I thought it was like a cool way to like get to express yourself, something like a little different. And I was always, when I was really little, wanting to be like an actress or a model, like, so I was always like influenced by a lot of like my favorite celebrities. So they were always wearing like the coolest things. So that, I guess, like influenced me a little bit in my like fashion history, I guess.
What were you on early? Like, you don't strike me, even just saying that, you weren't into Vineyard Vines or Volcom, right? It doesn't sound like it. You skipped over that.
I mean, when I was like middle school, elementary school, I'll say like I wore like Target, like frilly girly outfits for sure. Like fourth grade, I was a princess, but
Paige knows all about that, right?
That's hilarious.
But I was really into like skate culture, so I did like shop into like Zoomies a lot. I was like into, I mean, my first pair of sneakers were like Converse, and like I got different colors of Converse, so that kind of got me into like the collecting aspect. But my real first pair of sneakers were SB Dunks from Zoomies. So I was like into like, I guess, more of the like edgier stuff, I guess. And then I also like started being into like thrifting and stuff and not buying stuff from the mall stores. So I was just getting like vintage. I was really like I wanted to be grunge really bad, I guess,
of course.
when I was
why not
for high school, or Doc Martens too. So I was just, I guess, finding myself. But yeah, I was like not really into like Vineyard Vines and Sperry's and stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, I did have a pair of Sperry's in middle school.
Shoot,
that's not a shame. Hey, how old are you?
I'm 24. The reason I stutter is
gosh,
I'm to be 25 next month, so I have to keep thinking about it. But,
yeah, summer birthdays,
balling young.
Yeah.
What? So okay, so you're growing up. It sounds like you were middle class, just like all of us. How were you? Like, what was the first thing you saw that you're like, I'm going after a step up from what you just said, like an Off-White, a whatever? Like, what was the first thing that you're like saving your money up for?
Yeah, so really, I don't even know if Off-White was a brand yet, like how it is now, like until after I graduated high school. I think it kind of started a little bit in the middle of me going to college. So I think really, I mean, Off-White was one of my favorite brands. And I think it was when that Off-White Blazers came out, I was like really set on getting the top 10 white blazer or whatever. But I didn't get it. I tried on like sneakers. I believe it came out on sneakers. So I tried on there. And I didn't get it. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to buy this. I still couldn't really afford that yet.
So were you working?
Like, honestly,
were you working at this point? You're just grinding, trying to. I mean, are you working? Were you working?
Yeah. So I worked. I worked at Pier 1 Imports as manager.
That's right.
Throughout college, and then I worked as like a hair salon receptionist, like kind of more full time than I did at Pier 1. But all I did was save my money. So that's kind of like what helped me in the long run, because I didn't realize this is what I wanted to do yet. Like I just was working, saving my money, trying to figure out what I was going to do after college. I was in college for business. So
were your parents, did that come from your parents? Because I mean, I can imagine you had a pretty like all of us, we have humble beginnings and all this stuff. I mean, were your parents pretty good with money?
Yeah, so they I mean, when they first came to America, they came with like literally nothing, and they worked like 3 jobs. cleaning, bakery, like late shifts, all
American
kinds
dream.
of things. Yeah, and so they eventually opened up their first little restaurant, but that didn't do well because it's like bad time, and I don't know. This was when I was still like a baby, but then so they were renting out a little spot in Antioch. It just didn't do well at all. It was a flop. So then I guess they had bought their first house, and after that, they got their first house. Then they started renting it or whatever. Because my mom got an opportunity to work for this really rich lady. So this rich lady kind of offered us an opportunity to like stay next door to her. So they rented out their house and then started kind of flipping houses a little bit. So that's kind of how they got into like business and stuff. They opened up another restaurant, didn't do well again, flopped. And then now they own like a wedding venue and still like the few houses that they have. So
the few houses they have?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
Can you shout out the wedding venue for any of our listeners that are in the market for?
There's a
Their
lot
next,
right now. It's
wedding
wedding
spot?
season.
Yeah.
It is wedding season major.
Right next door to the shop. It's called Luxury Palace Event Center. Really, weddings, birthdays, quinceañeras, graduations, like every event, honestly. But yeah, it's an awesome place. It's beautiful. So if you want a wedding for a great price, Luxury Palace.
All right.
Let's go.
That's awesome. I love that story.
really cool.
Like forget the hype stuff. Like that's real life. Like that is your parents grinded. Like they are tough. I bet your parents are superstars.
Oh, especially after like they came from the war. Like my dad, not to put it like a very bad mood, but like
No,
survived a he was taken and captured in a concentration camp for like 3 weeks and was like beaten and starved almost to death. So he's just a whole nother level of superhuman to me.
without a
Yeah.
Oh
doubt.
my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, so crazy stuff, and they just, I hear the craziest stories from my parents all the time of like the war and how they escape. They have an incredible escape love story thing. I'm like, you guys could make a movie. Like, it's crazy.
I was just about to say that. That should be a movie.
And see,
Yeah,
I can
insane.
imagine you got people coming in worried about, whatever, not hitting on sneakers that day or whatever, and your parents survived a war. And the war, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
They were my age and younger a little bit. So like
Sheesh.
almost 17. So
Wow.
yeah, you never know, like, our priorities and stuff are a little different than that.
Yeah.
Perspective.
What a blessing.
So obviously Nashville 27 years ago is not what Nashville is now. So was that like the first place they could get to from? It was
Yeah,
Bosnia, right?
Bosnia. So they gave my mom like a map, I guess, of like cities to choose from, and with a little explanation, I guess. And they spoke no English coming here, but the ladies told my mom, like, New York's this huge city, and then whatever, Chicago's this other big city. Nashville, it's a city, so you're not like in a farm, but it's still like little, and you can get by. So they chose Nashville because it was like a safe bet. All the other cities were kind of too overwhelming, I guess.
Wow.
That's dope. That's so dope.
That is really cool. I guess switching gears a little bit, you talked about where you worked at Pier 1 and then the hair salon. So where in that did the Red Rose story come about, or the idea? Just walk us through that and your aha moment, I guess.
Yeah. So I get this question like all the time, and I feel like I just always explain it all the time. So I try to explain it differently every time because it's the same story.
Give us the raw version. Give us not the sexy version. Just straight up.
So the raw version is I was always into fashion and streetwear. Like I said, I was like into thrifting, I guess. So I started kind of selling that stuff on Depop and Mercari, like an app.
Mhm.
I was like kind of like flipping some stuff on the side, like while working these jobs and stuff. Even since I was a kid, I always wanted to be like owning like a clothing or sneaker store, but I never thought that that was like possible. Like, what would make a clothing store different than any other clothing store? Like, how can I do that? Like, I just thought that would be a cool thing to do. Never really realized like I could do this, but so I had a friend that I met in Miami, and he lived in Louisville, Kentucky, or Indiana, but he was always in Louisville, Kentucky, because it's like on the border. So he would drive to these stores in Kentucky, and he brought me. He was like, "You've got to check out these cool stores." So I went to these super dope stores, and honestly, they inspired me a lot because I didn't really realize this was like prior to me knowing about Round Two. But now Round Two is like huge inspiration to me, but I guess I didn't know about it yet. But I was so like, I was like, wow, this is amazing. You can get this stuff in person and like see it. And this is so cool. I didn't realize that you could like go to a store like this. Why doesn't anywhere in Nashville have this? So I would go there like twice a month, every other month. So I was on the phone with that friend, and I was like thinking, man, I don't understand. Nashville's kind of a bigger city. How come Nashville doesn't have anything like this? Like, Nashville is a great place to have something like this. Why not? So I was kind of like talking in frustration, but it kind of all just clicked in my head. Like, wait, I just found a hole in the market. I found a problem, and I found a solution. I've got the solution. So from that moment, like literally that night, I created the name Red Rose. I created like a mini version of the logo on Snapchat with like a few like random stickers that they had on there and fonts. And literally the next day, I just created like a plan, I guess. And I told my parents, hey, I'm going to do this. I don't care if you like it or not. Like, I'm going to do it. So my parents were like, wait a minute. Like, before you go rent a spot for a 5-year lease contract and get stuck, let us let you use the office space that they have next to the venue, which is now Red Rose. So they let me borrow a room. But yeah, honestly, that moment, I just never stopped. And I just instantly started looking for inventory. That friend had kind of helped me out a little bit and like guiding me where places where to find it. I started posting on my Instagram, hey, opening up a consignment store. Like, it was never like 100% official, but in my head it was. So it's like, I'm opening up this store, sell me your stuff, blah, blah, blah. So literally that night, I never like stopped. That was that day. It just happened.
So what was the timeline here? Like, when did the idea happen and then the store opened?
August 2018. Store opened January 2019. So 6 months.
Wow.
And it was small.
We all start small. Yeah.
I just wanted to
Elon
open.
Musk started small.
Yeah.
Like,
Started in a
Still
garage.
Dripping started in a church.
Still Dripping is
And we're still
small.
small.
Still Dripping happy hour started. What a story.
So you opened in 2019. You had one normal year, and then COVID hit. What happened then?
The normal year was like still, it's your first year. So it was still pretty like rough, I would be there all day after, like, because I was still finishing up my last semester of college. So I would be there all day.
Where were you in school?
I went to Belmont for business, for entrepreneurship.
Go Bruins.
Yeah.
100%.
Watch it, Mason. I work at Lipscomb.
COVID.
Yeah. So I was there after school. I think my class ended at almost around 12 o'clock. So I gave myself 1 to 5 every day. I was there. Some days, some weeks, like nobody would come, but I still showed up every day. And then occasionally a few people come. So that kind of kept me afloat. But then COVID hit. So that also kind of stopped helping, the brand grow. And people word of mouth and stuff like that. But something that kind of helped, I guess, was that my dad did own the building, so he kind of gave me forgiveness in paying rent through those months.
What a blessing.
So I was super blessed, super lucky for that. So that was awesome, and that helped me stay open. Like after COVID, it didn't help me not shut down, like permanently fail as a business. So I tried doing online stuff. I put everything that I owned. We removed it from the shop because we were worried because of COVID. People might start rioting or breaking into stores. Who knows what was coming to? Like, so we took everything from my store, moved it to my house. I was living with my parents at the time. So my whole bedroom and our sunroom at our house was filled with sneakers and clothing. But I took that time to post literally everything on our website, and I marketed it and posted it. And, you know, a lot of people were trying to help support small businesses and stuff. So that helped, especially like the first month or two, our sales were like a little bit better. But then like the last month or two of quarantine, like our sales were like $1,000 that month. So that's not enough to like grow.
Pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly. So I just was like, okay, let's be productive and positive. What is something I could do since we're shut down to be productive? So I expanded a little bit and opened up. It was like a little shed room storage kind of thing, but we busted the wall down into it and drywalled it and made it into like the little back area that's now like the vintage section. So that was like the first expansion thing that I really did. And I did that over quarantine. So I was there every day painting like the little racks and doing all this handyman stuff with my dad. My dad like really is the handyman. He has basically built the entire shop by hand. Like it's very handmade when you go in the store. So some of my plans
I want
are
to meet
to
your
renovate.
dad. Like this guy sounds like he is just like the salt of the earth kind of guy.
No, he's incredible.
But like you totally, like when I walked in, the minute I walked in, it's authentic. And that's what it was, just hit me the second I walked in. And so you say, you know, it's very handmade. I mean, but that for me was a very positive thing. Like I've been in the round twos, but I've been in the places where it just doesn't, it feels, and I'm not saying round two is inauthentic, but in some of the places where it just feels like, man, this is fabricated, right? This is
like Walmart
industry bankrolled by some big investor. Like I didn't get that when I walked in to your shop.
Yeah, that's the goal. I want everybody to feel comfy there. I never wanted it to be like, I don't know, corporate vibes or very minimal. Like, because I know when I walk into like minimal, to me, it gives me like, oh, I can't touch anything. I'm not comfortable. I feel like I'm being watched or whatever. I just want everybody to walk in and feel cozy as soon as they walk in. So I wanted to create kind of like that skater vibe, I guess, in there. Just fun environment. That's the goal for sure.
So you mentioned the vintage side. So are you hunting? Like you're going to, I don't know where you live in Asheville, and it doesn't matter. Don't say it on the podcast. But I mean, are you going to Goodwill, the third world Goodwill that we call it? That you hit the bins and all that stuff too still?
So I used to, but honestly, I don't really have the time to anymore. And just like mental capacity for it anymore. Now that it's always pick through and stuff, like you have to have like a full-time commitment to that specifically. So now I just rely on my people that do that full-time. If they come in with bins and let me pick through it, and obviously I pay a lot more, but you know, I'm helping support their business, and there's like we're doing business together, creating a relationship, and they do the hard work for me.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. All of us fell in love with, well, I mean, we've all loved sneakers forever, but I mean, we're on the same wavelength where we all fell in love with round two at the same time. And that just started this. I mean, I still thrift once or twice a week. I just love it. Like it is stupid.
It's fun.
And I just enjoy it. But that's an awesome story. You survived through a pandemic.
She didn't just survive.
You did
it. She's thriving. Like it's remarkable. It's crazy.
What was the hardest part of all that?
Of COVID, or just going through
all the above.
Just
Like
everything,
you've had
yeah.
a run. You start in 2019, like you start a business, and then, I mean, it's 2022, and Lord willing, it's a lot more predictable.
And the fact that you were still in college, like you were
Oh,
still,
bro, you are
like unreal.
I'm the oldest of all of us, and so who's the youngest? Would that be Mason or Dan?
Dan, I
think it's
think.
me.
I'm turning
27.
28 tomorrow.
27. Oh my
Shoot,
gosh,
boy.
I'm so old. But like, I can't imagine going through all. I have a bunch of kids, and I can't imagine going through all of this as a kid, much less as a 42-year-old. Like, I can't imagine, much less a 24-year-old that's got a business. Like, I don't even know what to say at this point for you.
Was
What
there a
was all that
question in
like?
that, Hayes?
I'm sorry. It was more like, what was all that like? Like, what did you learn? What did you learn?
Oh my gosh. It's honestly, I'm still learning so much, and it's been like a crazy experience, and it has made me grow up a little bit faster and made me be more cutthroat and tough, I guess some tough skin. It was a lot, because at one point before COVID hit, I was like, I don't know, maybe 7 months in to owning a business, and I was so excited when I first opened. I'm like, nowhere in Nashville is. I later learned that there was like a couple of stores, but I was like, nowhere in Nashville has this. Like, this is gonna be like boom. Like, I thought like so amazing of it, but then it got more and more disappointing as time went by, because like just a lot of people didn't believe in me, and a lot of people like I lost a lot of friends, just haters are gonna hate all the time. So it was like difficult, especially being a woman. That was probably one of the biggest challenges, being like in a really male dominant industry. That's something that just made me learn to become more tough, because in being in this type of industry where it's like mostly you're dealing with men, you have to make people like believe in you,
Respect
and
you,
seriously,
right?
and respect you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something really challenging just as a girl, because I was different. And I mean, I've gotten scammed a few times where people said, girls just aren't cut out for resell. Haha, joke's on you. That's why you got scammed. Or people just thinking I'm naive, or people thinking I just don't know what I'm doing or talking about. And how do I know, not having trust in me, that I know how to authenticate, and all these type of things. So getting through it honestly was really challenging, because I got to like kind of a dark point, like 7 months in, like thinking, wow, like I really don't have a support system. No one really believes in me. People keep challenging me, but I don't know why I didn't give up. But I went to this like women's empowerment event thing in New York that just, I think, was meant to happen, because my parents were just going to New Jersey for the weekend to visit some Bosnian people that they knew. And someone sent me this flyer like, hey, this would be really cool if something like this were to come in Nashville. And it was like they were leaving next weekend, driving up there. And I was like, oh, this is in New York. And I begged my parents to let me go with them. And I Ubered from New Jersey to that event. And honestly, it was the most like probably best thing that happened to me, because I listened to a lot of different women's stories and stuff, but I also talked to a lot of different people. And one of the main things I learned was fake it till you make it. And that was one of the things that like really helped me get through a lot of the struggles, because I was always talking about like, no one supports me, and being really down and negative. But okay, how about I switch my mindset, fake it till you make it. Everyone supports me. Like, I'm killing it, whatever it is. Change my mindset, and it kind of changed my outlook and made me keep staying motivated to keep going. So that, I guess, fake it till you make it was something that I guess helped me continue to get past it, because like I said, all these people want to challenge you, even in regular businesses too. And anybody wants to start something, no one really believes that they're gonna make it. Oh, you're gonna start a business, okay,
Was there any? So you go to this event. Was there any people locally in your corner that you felt like were super supportive and like helping prop you up during that?
No, I was, like I said, like a lot of people, even my parents started to kind of lose. I mean, they never, that was another thing. My parents show like a lot of tough love always. So I always had to work really hard to like prove them wrong or whatever. And I mean, I guess it's made me who I am today, but they were really losing their belief in me, but they didn't believe in the idea in the first place, hence why they made me use their office. But also it helped out a lot. It was the smarter idea. At the end of the day, your parents were right when you start to grow up and you realize.
Screw that.
But I really, like, a lot of my friends kind of started to get jealous, even though there wasn't anything to be jealous of. Like, I was still very new and fresh. So, I mean, they're not my friends anymore. So I really felt alone. And that was like a dark point. It's like I just felt alone. I didn't have a team. I didn't have any employees. So because I was able to it was very small. I was able to run everything on my own. So I was there alone every day. Some of the people that came in were cool and like kind of became my friends at work. But some people were also really crappy. So it was just like good days and bad days and a lot of alone time. I was alone a lot. So I just felt super alone at a point until I went to that event, and it kind of just remotivated me, I guess, and showed me a different outlook on how to look at it, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah. I really liked how you said, and if you go back and listen, I've probably said the opposite of this, the fake it till you make it. But I think what you were saying, and I'd like you to expand a little bit on it, is you're not saying you were posting pictures of renting out a place that looks like you have a private jet, fake it till you make it. Yeah. You're saying fake the belief in your idea until you make, I guess, the belief your own. Because I really have a problem with people posting. And I'm sure you see people walk into your shop like that have on some off-white shoes and that means success, but they really haven't done anything. They just either they're fake or something like that. So explain a little more of what you mean when you say fake it till you make it in your perspective.
For sure. So just kind of like almost manifesting, I guess. So if you believe, I don't know, it's just, to me, I've seen like actual, I guess, results of just changing your mindset. But I know a lot of people have their different beliefs about it. But yeah, just like manifesting, like I am successful. Mm-hmm. I do have support. I am supported. I am loved, things like that it just, honestly, I don't know if that specifically really works, but it helps you feel better. And I guess if you feel good and you have a positive mindset, you're more likely to be successful or have better things happen to you than when you're always negative all the time. You're just drawing negative energy to you and negative attention and negative things to happen to you. So yeah, I mean, I see all the time the fake flex is what I would call it. And yeah, I didn't even buy my first pair of sneakers, like expensive sneakers, till like 2.5 years of being open. So my budget for sneakers was like $350. So, and I had a whole sneaker store. So I was really like against that type of stuff. It was more just like a mindset thing, because I mean, I see people all the time that I see flexing on Instagram, but then when they come in my store, they don't buy anything because it's too expensive, or they want to ask me for $100 discount on something that I'm not making $100 on. So
what happened to that stack of money you had up against your ear?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was perfect. Yeah. If you want to call anybody out, feel free. We can edit it out.
Yeah, can't do that.
Well, now you've got
fair enough.
Now you've got at least 4 gangsters on your side. I would say.
I don't know if I would consider myself that. I'm wearing Lululemon, remember?
I'm wearing an IKEA hat.
Oh, man, I think you hit on like every
Oh
question
my gosh.
that we already had written down.
Jenny, at this point, are you thinking this is a sneaker podcast? Are you thinking that too?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a
Like,
lot of
I'm
life
thinking that. I'm like,
here.
it's counseling.
Yeah.
I think it was the question about like how did you get through this or whatever, all the like whatever, and it was just, I guess, a touchy subject because it was really
great.
long to get through it.
Man, it is the community is what binds us together. Like it has nothing. Turns out it has nothing to do with shoes or clothes or an off-white shirt. It has to do with persevering and getting through life. Like it just so happens we all like the same things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it has to do with.
Yeah.
You touched on it a bit, but you said your budget was $350. So what was the 2.5-year pair of shoes that you got?
Oh, I have a few sneakers behind me, so I'll pull it out.
Oh, here we go.
Let's go.
This pair, you wouldn't think I got for
these.
$350, but on StockX, this was actually during COVID, so I would say maybe a little bit before 2.5 years, maybe two years, 2 years and some change. But I got it off StockX for $350 because I guess COVID, people were like scared. This shoe had come out like I think right before COVID or right around that time, and so they had just dropped, so the price is low. And I love Off-White. Off-White's one of my favorite brands, so I think Virgil's like creativity is just like amazing. I really love what he has done to the community. But yeah, this shoe was my first $350 shoe, and now I've got some I can't believe I've spent some money on certain shoes at this point, because I would have told you I would have never spent.
Hey,
What I spent
treat
on
yourself.
shoes,
Yeah, you
but
put in the work.
I guess I
Treat yourself.
earned it.
Well,
Yeah.
we like to play a top five. So if we're on sneakers right now, can you give us your top 5 sneakers, either in your rotation or on your wish list, whatever you want to go?
Okay, I put all my top 5s kind of on my bed here with me. So
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Let's go.
perfect.
because
First YouTube.
yeah, that's who I am.
Yes.
So
First YouTube.
yeah, first this was one of my
Dang,
first
Jenny.
grails
Holy
to ever get.
Oh, hit it with it.
This was my first grail, and I had posted, I don't know, somebody posted like a challenge on Instagram. It was like, if you could get your top 3 sneakers, which sneaker is your grail, top 3 grails that you wish you could get? The next day, I had found these for like an incredible deal. I got these no box off GOAT for an incredible deal, like under $1,000. So this was like the most like craziest first shoe I ever got. Was this.
What size is that? Like
For
an
the
8? Is it
listeners
8 or
at
9?
home, we're
This
looking at
It's like an 8.
a Jordan 1 retro high off-white white.
Yeah, it's so sick.
It is fire. In my size, they're about $6,000 right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, this youth, I think, is going for about half a lot. But yeah, this shoe goes crazy. The red one, the Chicago colorway of these are like insane. And I bought these really used, and they
look so dope.
They look
Who
good,
cares?
yeah.
they're my beater skate. I've skated.
Yeah.
Like these are one of my favorites. So
Have
it's like
have the Chicagos come through the store at all? You mentioned the Chicagos of the Off-White.
I don't buy those because a lot of them are fake. So
yeah,
I stay away from those unless they have a receipt, and every pair that has come through the shop hasn't had a receipt. We've had pairs that I definitely knew are fake where I blacklighted them or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, can't take these. But regardless, if they don't have a receipt, because it's one of the best heavily made shoes, fake made shoes, and the UNC colorway as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be a lot easier just because they're made imperfect, right? And so it's harder to pick
And
them up.
Nike quality control.
Yeah.
Just, you already know.
Yep.
Told this story before, but I had I have a corporate office job once in my life, and it was just awful. And I went to the printer and it jammed, and I came back and I had exclusive access to the UNC Off-White ones. And by the time I got back to my desk, they were sold out. It was the worst day of my life. I sat on my desk and stared at my computer screen for the next 5 hours and did no work.
It's like 4 house payments.
Oh my God.
It was because it jammed.
Yes. That printer can
It
go to
didn't
hell.
jam, but I got it.
Man, off the top rope.
All right. What else
All
you
right,
got in your top five?
Back to top
Flores?
five. Back to top
Okay.
five.
This is my most recent purchase. I only wore these twice now. I just got these from Goat because my size is very rare to come into the shop for some heat. So I have to shop. I usually shop on Goat as opposed to StockX. This is not my favorite. Goat's a little more pricier, but I like them a lot better.
Would you say what size you are again?
6 men's. So like a 7.5.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be some turtle doves or something.
Yeah, it's like tough. Okay, no, it's another pair of ones, but I just got these.
Oh, wow.
This is
Okay.
Very
the most
nice.
expensive shoe I own. I've
In a
never spent
6.
this much. This actually goes for half the price of like an 11. So 11's like 4,000 something. Sold. I had a pair of Fragment lows that I also put in the list, but I just sold them because so the highs and lows, I guess. But I got them for like $500 when they first came out, brand new, with a sneakers receipt from like a local reseller. I don't even remember who. And I put them on, no, I do remember who, but I put them on and I wore the hell out of them and beat them. And I was like super regretful. So I was like, then they went up in price like crazy. So I sold them for $1,500, used as hell. So I was just going to buy myself another pair of lows because I was like, well, I paid $500. I made the profit on it. If I add a few hundred to get the new pair, like a DS pair, like it's fine. Like it's not really me coming out of pocket since I made profit on it or whatever. So then I got it from Go and I didn't like it because the tongue was like a little crooked or something. And I was just not feeling it. I'm like, if I put like, $1,800 on a shoe, I don't want it to be factory flawed. It wasn't listed as factory flawed. So Goat is awesome and they did a return. So I had Goat credit.
Wow.
And then I saw that these were like, I don't want to say only $2,000, but compared to like the big sizes were like four something $1,000. So I ended up getting the high instead because I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna do it. And I did it. So this is the most money I've ever spent on
Have you worn them?
Wow.
Have you unds them yet?
Yeah, I the first day I got them.
Oh,
Literally,
let's go.
Nice.
No stars in sight.
put
Let's go.
them on. That might be the camera quality.
By the way, we're talking about some Travis ones that are the fragment ones.
Travis Frag
Really.
highs. And I do want those new suede white brown ones too. They come out like around my birthday. So I would put them on instantly too. I love those. Also, next grail, I guess. Union, the Black Force, the new off.
Let's go.
You sold me a pair of these. But
Landon, I thought
That's what I brought in.
forgot you hit those.
Yeah, I did. My wife did.
That's
I took the
crazy.
credit. I lied to you, Jenny. I said I got them. My wife hit on those, but I sent you the receipt. I had the paper trail, right? Had my wife's name on it.
and another 4 that I had in my top 5, but I'm currently it's like on the shelf right now at the shop. I'm selling it. Is the Off-White for the sales?
Mhm.
It was my
Yeah,
first
Beautiful pair of shoes.
So I got that off Sneakers the day after my birthday. And it's such a beautiful shoe, but it is so sensitive. And I'm really hoping they come out with the Off-White Bread 4. Because that one, to me, is way nicer. I would rock that over. Because the black, I'm honestly pretty rough on my shoes. I try not to be. I work in them every day, and I work hard when I work. So I guess that's what happens. So yeah, I would love to get the bread 4s if they ever come out, which I hope they do. But Union
I wouldn't
4.
hold your breath on that one. I hope they do too. But I love bread 4s.
I got the sale 4s as a COVID impulse buy. I got them. They're in my rotation. I wear them once every however many 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, those went up quite a bit.
Yeah, that was a tough stretch for me money wise. It's a really tough stretch.
You might have had to sell your golden gooses for that.
No, that's when I got the golden gooses. I got golden gooses. I got Gucci loafers. I got those sales. I got Chicago ones. Like I went stupid during that time frame. It sucks.
Then you wore your Chicago ones in the snow.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's a good snowshoe, I guess.
But ones look great when they're beat up. Listen, but ones
don't support this. No.
Listen, Jenny, look at your off-white, the first ones you showed. Look how great they look when they got some. They do
look better yellow.
They do.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I love my shadow ones. I've had the shadows for I don't know how long. They're my favorite shoes because they look like they're beat up. I love them.
I'm big on like wear your shoes because I really, like I said, I
love this
my shoes.
Anytime you want to come back, Jenny, you're welcome. Hayes, you're preaching to Hayes right now.
Yeah.
Last one, it's kind of a tie, so I got 2 because
Good.
I couldn't decide. But my off-white 5 muslin colorway.
Ooh, I like
and then
those.
lot 50. And I want lot 1, so that's a grill I want right now. It's lot 1, but yeah, these are my top 5, I guess, and 6 and 7. I think 6. I have 7 shoes.
What do you not have that you're like, I gotta have this?
Lot 1. I love that cream color.
Mm.
So that's something that I want right now. Travis SBs. Big grail of mine, but that's a little. Whew, that would be the most expensive shoe if I were to get that. So
the PlayStation ones?
No, the like paisley.
Yeah.
Paisley.
It's like the rope cord.
Yeah, I love those
shoestrings and yeah.
I'm all about detail, and like I said, SB Dunks were one of my favorites because they're like just so collectible. They have different features and like they're so unique. Like each one of them are different crazy patterns and stuff. So I've got quite a bit of SBs, but I mean a lot of them are just regular SBs, I guess. But I love SBs.
What's the craziest thing that's come into the store that is authentic that you were like, holy cow?
Okay, I have a couple. So recently, I'll say the not for resale Jordan 1s, the yellow ones.
I had those. I had the red ones.
Those are the red ones to me are so much more fire. But yeah, not for resales. They're on my shelf right now. I've had the Cactus Plant Flea Market sparkly Swarovski dunks. I've had 2 of those come in.
Are those heavy?
I'd say they're kind of heavy, but honestly, like not like a Balenciaga, like crazy amount of heavy. They're like kind of like a just high quality shoe heavy. And it seems like the Swarovskis on there are pretty high quality, like they won't just fall off, which is something I was worried about at first, but that's also a shoe I'd like to have. That shoe's crazy. That'd be a good wedding day shoe. I've always thought of that.
Oh yeah.
Get married in the Swarovski cactus plant dunks.
I have a friend from work.
Will you get married
on those?
Budget.
Will you get married at your parents' event hall at your parents' place? What do you think?
So I had my sweet 16 there.
Yeah, got to do it.
But just because it's my parents' place and I just see it every day.
Yeah.
And it's right next to the shop. I think I would just feel like I want to do maybe something outdoors or something just because it's just like that's like home to me, which would be cool, but also maybe I want to do something different.
Hey, I feel that. I had to move to a different city to do something different because I had too many parents breathing down my neck. So,
Dan, do we need to cut that out?
They don't listen to this
listen. They don't
podcast.
listen to
We are
this.
not. They are not our demographic.
Dan, you're the only one in
sure.
this group that has flown the coop. We've got 5 Nashville natives right here.
Yeah,
that's
You're
true.
holding-
I'm sorry. I'm
holding
sorry
down
I'm
the-
messing up the mojo.
it's all good. Hey, so what? So to the opposite of Dan's question, what are you just absolutely sick of seeing? If one more person brings you X, you're gonna croak.
I'm so
Oh,
interested
I
in this.
I
So
say
interested.
these things all the time. It depends on, I guess, the season or whenever this shoe has came out or whatever. But recently, like at the shop, lately, everybody's been selling me Syracuse highs. And like I have the Syracuse lows, and the Syracuse highs were fire. Like people were buying them, but now everybody wants to get rid of them for some reason, and now nobody's buying them. So now I'm just like, I'm sick of seeing the shoe. Like I want to vomit. And the wave runners, because after they restocked for the 20th time, nobody freaking wants those anymore. And I bulk bought like 4 of each size, so I've got so many that I paid too high for, and like I'm sick of that shoe right now. I can't do wave runners, and I own a pair of wave runners. I want to sell them because of this issue. But my
the gloves are off.
Sell them yet because they just came out. So yeah, certain shoes like that, I guess it trends from time to time. Like I guess when it's hype, and then people will wear them for a year or something, and then they'll get sick of them, and they'll all come to me, and then nobody wants to buy them because they're outdated, I guess. Because sneakers, I feel like, are just a lot of the time in Nashville, specifically Nashville culture and stuff. It's very like hype based. Like, what's the newest, trendiest, hypest shoe that people can flex in and wear around or whatever? So.
Do you think that's due to the infancy of the Nashville sneaker community? Like people are trying to overcompensate? Because like I feel like things went from 0 to 60 real quick. From like, because back in 2015, 16, 17, there's nothing around. Like everybody, like to Hayes' point, wearing Vineyard Vines, wearing Sperry's. Like what do you think is driving the Nashville scene, and what's holding us back from becoming like a Miami, like in LA? Like I don't think we'll ever get to that. What's holding us back right now?
Cowboy boots.
Country, that's what I was.
I was gonna say like country. It's super old fashioned. Like we're very Southern. I mean, something that I don't think it's peaked yet. I don't think it's something that's gonna stop anytime soon, though, because like 3.5 years ago when I first opened, Nashville sneaker scene was like 0 to none. Like you would go to the Green Hills Mall, which is our luxury mall, and you would maybe see one person wearing Yeezys. I'd be excited to see somebody wearing some sneakers. I'd be like, hey, come to my store. So I was like ready to see a single person. But now you go to the grocery store and you see literally every fire sneaker, 5 people wearing them, like some fire heat, and then regular people wearing some regular sneaker heat. So it's just like you're seeing sneakers everywhere. Because back then people were wearing regular sneakers, Converse, Vans, Sperry's. And I'd see occasionally a person with some like Jordan 11s, some Breads, some Concords, or some Aqua 8s or something classic like that. But really, for the most part, the sneaker scene was really dead. And I think it was a lot to be like our old fashioned, I guess, culture here. But I think a lot of people from Cali moving here, Chicago, New York, but like a lot of people from California are moving here. It's like, it's crazy. Like every person that I ask, people are saying, oh, I'm from California. Like it's continuing to grow. I think Atlanta, Memphis, they're like our biggest, closest, like higher cultured cities. So I think that's kind of also coming up into Nashville, and a lot of people from Memphis moving to Nashville. A lot of people from Atlanta I've seen come to Nashville. I'm not seeing a lot of people stay in Nashville from Atlanta. I always find them moving back to Atlanta. But Californians love Nashville, and I think the sneaker scene and community is going to grow bigger because people there actually understand it. Something in Nashville, I feel like that was holding us back is people weren't understanding it either. They were asking, why is this, when I first opened, people would come in and say, like, why is this shoe $300? I'd be like, well, that's what it's worth. Then I'd have to explain resale value. And I mean, there's still some people that don't understand resale. Like, they're like, why is this shoe $100 on Nike and $250 at your store? So, I mean, there's that, but there's like really no knowledge of sneaker culture 3 years ago at all. And I don't know. I just think
that's why what you're doing is so valuable to the community, because you're an educator. Like, the first part is just getting people to understand what this is all about before they actually accept it. Like, I feel like we're still on the verge. Like you said, I don't think we peaked at all. And so shops like yours are so important to moving that ball forward, because right now it's really just trying to convert people to actually understand this crazy life that we live, right?
For sure. I believe it. And I think something that has helped it grow and spread is like sneakers are just like addicting, and they're very influential. Like, when you get your first pair of sneakers and you go out and no one's ever like, you've never gotten this many comments before going to Target, like, you're like, wow, sneakers are pretty cool. Or you can start a conversation with a stranger that are completely different from you just because you both have sneakers on, and like, wow, I like your sneakers, man. Where'd you get them from? Whatever. And you can conversate and connect with so many people. It like brings people together, even though you're completely different of a person.
You are preaching. Right
Amen.
now. Yeah.
Go.
Amen to that.
Someone complimented my shoes in Target one time, and I was wearing cowboy boots, believe it or not. And then the guy comes back around like 5 minutes later, and it's one of those pyramid scheme things. Like, he was trying to like set up coffee with me. I'm like, I threw those boots away and I never wore them again. I know. Hey, speaking of, okay, Jenny, this is going to dictate our relationship moving forward.
We're moving into rapid fire.
Woo! Rapid fire. Let's rapid
This is the
fire.
most important question you're going to get all night. What are your thoughts on OnCloud?
On what?
On OnCloud,
Yes.
the brand, the shoe brand, OnCloud.
Cloud? I don't know if I've even heard of it.
Good.
Yes,
Yes.
she's a realist. Let's go.
Pure.
Yes.
What we
Untainted.
want to
What
know.
is it?
Don't worry about it.
We got an episode. You'll have to listen to it.
Yeah,
it
it's
is
a
the
bad
most
shoe.
Williamson County, Brentwood,
Mom.
white tall socks, prep.
Athleisure wear.
We've got a house in 38 down in Destin. Just the most freckled faced, worst.
Look, they have
human
like,
beings on
listen,
the
hey, look,
face of the earth.
they have, it almost looks like a shock. They have like,
It's like a
space
shock and a
between-
Nike Free
You'd
combined.
know them if you saw them.
Yeah.
You'd
You
be
would know
like,
'em.
oh my
And
God.
they're
If you think of a
exploiting
soccer
high
mom-
fashion right now, because they started out like as an Under Armour like performance brand, but now they're creeping into high fashion and trying to do collaborations, and they're really giving New Balance a run for their money right now in sales. But it's
Really?
it's the worst. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
O thing on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I've
You
seen
know it.
those.
Yeah,
I
you have.
never knew what they were.
You've seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone's wearing Lululemon, they're wearing OnClouds.
Hey,
Mm.
I've got a Lululemon
Mason,
shirt
what you got
on.
on? What you got on feet,
on
Mason?
clouds. I've got no shoes on, but I had fours on earlier. So
Jenny, do you own any Crocs?
No.
Let's go. I
I
knew she was a
had
realist from
socks.
day one.
I was little, like 6th grade.
Yeah, that doesn't
Exactly.
count. You're
'Cause
24.
that's when it's appropriate time to wear Crocs, not
Yeah.
when you're a grown man, Dan,
or woman. In
I
this
do
case,
see
remember,
or a woman.
respect.
some grown men wearing Crocs at that.
Do you have people come in the shop wearing Crocs?
Yeah. It's kind of.
Yeah.
Respect.
Of course they do.
Respect.
Oh my
Unbelievable.
gosh.
all right,
I
what's
picked up my child the other day
oh.
wearing Crocs, and it was great. Driving
That's
my Prius.
embarrassing.
Driving
That's
my
Pray-
Prius and my
Pray
Crocs.
for that child.
God.
They don't know you have a sneaker podcast. God, these people. All right,
Jenny,
Mason,
what's
I'm
your
sorry.
favorite uncommon Jordan? So not ones. I would put 11s in a common favorite. Do you have an uncommon favorite?
Ugh, I would have to say no, because like there's a lot of Jordans, like especially the uncommon ones that I don't like number, like when you get past 14,
Oh,
I would
yeah,
say.
God, she is a purist.
Yep, I agree with that.
But the
But
33s are fire.
She's a real one. She's
Those
a real one.
33s.
I don't know. And like I wouldn't like, I'm not gonna cap and act like I've always loved Jordans, but I do love Jordans like now, and I have a really great appreciation for them. But when I was like in middle school, I can't say like I loved Jordans. Like there are people that, watch Michael Jordan on TV and like admire Jordan and like was his number one fan. Like that's how they got into sneakers. So like I don't have that like super cool, I guess, childhood story memory about Jordans, but I do love Jordans, and I have definitely, they're like a huge reason what sneaker culture is, the reason why it is what it is. So I love Jordans. I mean, I'm not gonna say ones are my favorite either, because that's like, one of the most basic ones, but I don't know. I wouldn't say sixes are like the most, hyped up Jordans. I would probably say maybe like I have an appreciation for like the Carmine sixes. I'd probably, if I got a pair, I might grab a pair for myself. Fours are probably my favorite, right? Like I peeped that. I would say twos, because they're trying to bring the twos back.
Hot take.
And
They're trying hard.
they're really trying. And there's certain twos right now, like collab wise, that I think are better, because I used to like talk hella crap about twos, saying they look like bowling shoes.
Yep.
Because they do.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, but I think the Union 2 collab, the cream colored one, that does a little bit better of not making it look bowling. The Amamier 2s, I do not like.
Oh, what?
Mm.
Oh, that hurts.
Have you
That
seen them in
hurts.
person?
I have not seen the twos in person, no.
The 2s in person resonate bowling shoe. They do.
It's
The
gonna smell like bowling
material,
I love the
smells
blacked
like
out
bowling
wings logo.
shoes. The logo's cool. And the box is dope. The box is probably the coolest thing about the Alma 2s for me, though.
I love a good
It's
sneaker
just-
box.
Yeah, boxes are important.
So you have a lot more in your store besides shoes. So really quickly, what is your take on where Supreme is going, and what is your opinion on the current state of Supreme?
Are they in the toilet?
Are they in the toilet? Supreme, honestly, I loved Supreme when I first started like being into fashion and stuff. They were super skate brand. So I was really into Supreme. I think one of the first Supreme things I had was like a hat I got from eBay. I couldn't tell you if it was real or fake, honestly. It was one of like the first things I ever bought Supreme wise, because I didn't know where else to buy this kind of stuff. So they were really edgy and really crazy brand, honestly. And they had some crazy stuff. And I think a little bit last year, they kind of died out a little bit. I think when they changed the company or ownership or whatever, and they kind of died out a little bit because they weren't being like authentic anymore. They were being like, I don't know, kind of sell out, I guess. But I think they're trying to bring back their authentic self this past year. So they've been doing a lot better. People love Supreme at the shop, so I'll always keep selling Supreme. But I don't know. I have a few Supreme shirts, but I have like 3. So it's not like I'm not a diehard. I've got 20 Supreme tees in different variations. But I like them. They're cool, but I don't love them, I guess, anymore. And a lot of people have their opinions about them, but they're cool. I guess, to me.
Good
The
answer.
Supreme Shocks. Have you seen the Supreme Shocks that are coming out? Oh,
The new
they're so
one.
great. Shout
I
out
kind
Vince
of
Carter.
like them.
I
They
love
are
them.
hideous. They are
No,
not
they've got
good.
Supreme on the shock.
I
Yeah,
like
it
Yeah, that was
still
the worst
sucks.
part.
Dope.
It
I like that
still
part.
sucks. Like they're not a good shoe.
So Supreme has made some ugly shoe collabs,
Mm-hmm. Amen.
but I think this is one of the better ones.
The Air Force 2s.
Oh,
That's
Air Force
horrible.
2s.
I was buying the Air Force 2s in the Nike clearance store here for $30 and $40 a pop. I'm not like 3 or 4, like 10 or 15 or 20, like pairs on, like I had pairs I couldn't sell.
Wow. Yeah, those were bad. I'd take some brown ones today, though. If you gave them to me for
Oof,
$50, I'd wear the
man.
brown ones.
The brown and turquoise ones were
going.
popping off.
Turquoise.
Terrible.
That was the
Jenny's,
first pair of shoes that I consigned. It was the Till
I remember
Supreme
that.
Air Force
Mhm.
2s with bullets and mullets.
That
And
leads to my question. That was going to be my question.
They sat in her shop for a solid year, and when they got broken into, I was like, "Oh man, they for sure got stolen." They didn't even steal them because they saw they're like, "Nope, not touching that."
Jenny, since we were rapid firing, I was going to ask, what, if anything, do you know about bullets and mullets?
So I know quite a bit, I guess, of bullets and mullets. It was like she had several stores, but it didn't work out in some locations and stuff. I would say like the Gulch, she wasn't meeting like her clientele base, so she tried to like do like Patagonia and North Face. It didn't like work out the best. And then, but like her Bell Road store did the best because I guess her clientele and stuff. But yeah, she was before her time. That's what I'm going to say. And I think we talked about that a little bit. She was before her time. And like, I wish she got more appreciated than what she was. Cause she did
100%.
have like mostly Bape, I would say, but like, that was awesome. Especially back then, we really didn't have anything like that. So she was before her time and people didn't appreciate or respect her. And she was another female. So that was cool.
Talk about tough. She was tough.
Yeah.
Hard-nosed. I respected her. We supplied her vintage when she dabbled into vintage early on before she moved out. And then she actually, before she moved, offered the store to me to sell it to me. And it was probably one of the worst decisions I ever made in my life. At that point, like I had a kid, we were about to have a second. I was just like, I had a steady job. And so like, again, kudos to you for going for it, like jumping off the cliff, taking that leap of faith. Cause like, I just couldn't do it. But looking back on it, to your point, she was so beyond her time. And it's like, oh man, what could have been? So I'm living vicariously through your success right now. I appreciate what you're doing.
Man, and she shut down like a few months before I opened, I believe. That was like, she moved to California then. So I guess everything happens for a reason, but I think she's thriving in Cali.
All right, I think that about wraps us up. I don't know where Hayes went. I guess before we go, do you have any shout outs? Where can we find you on social media? And then give us something that you learned today as well.
Something I learned today is that people appreciate my story. Because I don't feel like I get to really talk about it too much. And there are like a lot of people that are still haters. Like literally today, I was dealing with some stuff, and yesterday I heard someone told me they heard a rumor that I don't actually own the store. A man owns the store above me, and I just like pretend like I own the store. And then I heard a rumor that I sell fake shoes, and the day before that. So I don't get to tell my story too often, and I haven't done an interview in like a year or so. So this has been fun to do again, since I haven't got to like update people on my story and have you guys as some awesome listeners today. So it was awesome. Thanks for having me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Haters are gonna hate. So it's my biggest biggest motivation to keep going. Like awesome people like you guys that want to listen to my story and seem to believe in me and want to see me keep going, and that motivates me. So yeah. Shout out, I guess, my family. Even though they didn't really believe in me, they still helped me every step of the way to get to where I am today, because I couldn't do it without them. I started the shop with my own funds, but I couldn't have done it without like their support and helping me with the rent and those type of things. And yeah, and like my current supporters and friends and families and everybody that's shopped with me and sold to me. That's really important, is the people that sell to me, because I can't run a business without inventory, and people that respectfully sell to me. Like, I think when you came in, you gave me, I didn't even really have to counter offer too much. Like when you gave me, I was like, what are you looking for? You said, okay, this is the total that I have. I was like, okay, well, let me see what I can do. And I added everything up, and I think we were like off by like $120 or something off like a big, huge purchase. So I appreciate, shout out to all the people like that like respect and understand that I have to make money to the business running to provide a really cool place for people to like get to come and sell or trade or buy sneakers and get to see them in person and hang out with their friends and have like a community place for that type of stuff, because there's not many of us here. There's a few of us, and we're all working on creating this cool environment for people. So I appreciate all the people that come correct and are supportive and are nice and come sell to me and respect the fact that I have to make money and believe in me. So all those people and that shop with me and don't ask me for discounts, it's all love to those people, because I work hard, and my whole team works hard. Shout out my whole team, because they also help me out all the time, because I was a one-woman show and it was really hard. So it's awesome having a team behind me to help. I don't have to steam, be cashier, be a janitor, be a buyer, be all these things all at once at the same time. I mean, I am mostly the only buyer there, but aside from that, I have a team that helps me out with everything else, to where I stress just a little bit less and have people that we can go through the problems together. So shout out my team, because I didn't have a team before. So, and especially before I did any other interviews, I guess this is my first interview since I've had a team. So for real, shout out my team. And yeah, people can find me at Red Rose Hype Shop on Instagram. We're located at 1187 Antioch Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, 37211. A lot of people confuse it in Antioch, Tennessee, but we're in Nashville. We're about 12-ish minutes away from downtown Nashville. So yeah, come check us out. Come check out what I've done. I'm excited for what's to come. I've got like a lot of big plans. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. This has been a real treat for us. I don't know why you wanted to come on here, and we are very thankful.
You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate it.
But to hear this, shouts out to Jenny.
Oh, well, it was a fun time.
Hayes, I'll kick it to you.
I want to listen.
What I learned from Jenny is that perseverance and self-motivation is good, but having community behind you pushing you is really what gets you jump started when things are tough. I would say that's what I learned from Jenny.
Landon, Dan, who wants to go next?
Family first. I mean, you got the family by your side. Nobody can stop you. And to give them credit, and you got an awesome family. And not to take it away from all that you've done, but and just being real and being authentic. I mean, it shows, and it's you can differentiate yourself from the pack real easily by being authentic. So shout out.
And don't be discouraged when you may not be, supported by everyone in your group. So, I mean, I wear an IKEA hat and Crocs, and people in this group don't support me, but I'm still here. So, always be looking up.
Mason.
Oh, thanks, Dan. For me, mine pretty much echoes what everybody else said. I have a whole page of notes because, you never let a good opportunity to learn something go to waste. But for me, is just get you some perspective. Just where your parents came from and what they went through, and how you use that to, everybody doesn't hit on sneakers. Oh, well, that's not really a big deal. Like it is for some people, but really at the end of the day, that's where you need to get you some perspective. And then the biggest thing I wrote down was just community. Like the other guys have said, how important that is. And I think the other big thing that I learned is I just want to give you your flowers today, because this has just been a real treat for all of us. And anytime you want to come back on, it's an open invitation. You just let us know. And we probably won't bother you. We'll probably actually bother you at some point. And
yeah, we'll bother you.
We want to catch up again and have you come back on. But we don't have too many followers, but our followers are loyal, and I would expect some of them to come by. I hope they do and experience your store. I hope I get to come by sometime and experience the store for myself, and I'm looking forward to that. But at the end of the day, just thank you for coming on here and sharing your heart with us and your story. So much love.
Heck yeah, Jenny.
One last question from me. Jenny, can you freestyle?
Oh, no. I can't.
Are you going to embarrass me right now?
You don't have to, but Hayes is known for freestyling off on our podcast. So if you just wanted to battle, you could, but
this was
battle.
A rap battle.
Whoever wins gets to stay on the podcast. We've been trying to find a way to get Hayes out of here and replace him with someone a little
right,
more.
Landon, you're here like once a month. We couldn't do the podcast.
But look who I brought. Look who I got on this
fair.
podcast.
That's fair.
The best guest ever.
Well, Jenny, if you're feeling it, just interrupt Hayes and tell him you're going.
Nobody
Hayes,
else is going to rap? Nobody else is rapping?
I don't have it today. I don't have it.
I'm afraid I'm going to say something I shouldn't.
Is this a good one, Hayes?
Sure, I don't give a crap.
Oh my gosh.
Jenny, don't judge me. Red Rose hype. I'm white. She's wearing off-white. Got her pajamas on, and so do I. I got Louis Vuittons on. I'm flexing on these haters. I come into their shop with some fakes like they real and asking for $1 billion. I got $1 billion. I'm in Biden's economy. I got all the money. I'm taking all the money. I'm taking all the haters. She's wearing alligators. I'm wearing gator snakes. I'm wearing snakes. I got snakes wrapped around my neck like a necklace. I got the breakfast. I'm eating your breakfast. I'm eating steak and shrimp for breakfast. I got the grits. Antioch.
You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
But you're here.
We'll see you next week.
615.